All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our GIS returning student orientation. So I just want to confirm with Mr. Daniel that we are live on YouTube. I know the title on this video says new student orientation, but it's actually the returning student orientation. We'll go back and edit that probably later when we're done with this video, but because it's geared toward returning students, hopefully it'll be a little bit shorter than our first orientation, and we will have less technical difficulties this time. So my name is Mrs. Tukoi. Most of you know me if you're a returning student, and I just want to take a minute to introduce the staff that will be joining us on our YouTube live video today. First, we have Ms. Stephanie Coriel. She is our PYP Vice Principal for TK through 5th grade. We have Ms. Deep Dillon, our MYP Vice Principal for 6th through 8th grade. And Ms. Elizabeth Call, she is our curriculum coach, and Mr. Daniel Bubella, he is our parent liaison. So I'm so thankful for this team. They are all very competent and capable and intelligent people who work tirelessly to support our school, our staff, and our students. So thank you very much to all of you for the work you put in, even just to this orientation today. So I want to start today by sharing some good things about our school that most of you already know, and then talk about what to expect for this school year. As you know, it's going to be very different from any other school year we've ever had, but we are believing that it will still be a great school year where we can make lots of great memories. So this is our agenda for today. We're going to talk a little bit about our program, IB, then we'll go into, actually probably going to flip distance learning and student supports, and then communication and policies. That went better in our last orientation. So as a returning family, you already know much about IB, but it's always good to revisit our mission and why we do what we do and why we are IB. We very much support the goals of the International Baccalaureate. Their aim is to develop inquiring, knowledgeable, and caring young people who help to create a better and more peaceful world through intercultural understanding and respect. To this end, the organization works with schools, governments, and organizations to develop challenging programs of international education and rigorous assessment. These programs encourage students across the world to become active, compassionate, and lifelong learners who understand that other people with their differences can also be right. So I share this mission statement with you because it's important now more than ever in our society to have understanding of one another and respect for one another. I think if you've watched the news in the last 6 months, you will realize that it's important that we continue to teach these skills and this knowledge to our students. The second paragraph talks about challenging programs and rigorous assessment. This is important because even though we're moving to another mode of teaching, as an IB school, we are going to continue to have high expectations for our students. And you'll see that as we move into the schedules. We will have high expectations, we will still assess them, but we will support them along the way, right? As an IB school, we don't just choose what's easy. We choose what's best, right? And sometimes what's best requires a little bit more work and effort, not just from our students, but also from our staff and our teachers. And then last, we're wanting to continue to have our students learn the IB skills of being compassionate and active in their community and understanding of other opinions, right? There's an IB attribute called open-mindedness that we really teach our students to embrace, at least listen to all opinions, weigh them out with all facts, right? And so you'll see that even while we're doing online learning, students will still have opportunity for this type of dialogue and discussion with their peers and with their teachers. So I'm sure most of you know that we are certified, we are authorized in IB for 2 programs, for the primary years program It's our oldest program that we have, and that is TK through 5. You'll hear it referred to as PYP. And we are also authorized in middle years program, grades 6 to 8, MYP. What I'd like our returning families to know is that this year is a year where we will be reauthorized for our primary years program. We thought it was going to be last spring, and we had prepped families to be part of that process. But that had to change because of school closure. And now we're going to be reauthorized in October. So we will still be asking some of our families who have been participating in PYP to join us on some of those Zoom meetings with the authorizers from IB. So we hope that you can play a role in that. Not only are we authorized IB, but we are authorized by WASC. So IB is an international accreditation. WASC is a national accreditation for the United States. Western Association of Schools and Colleges. All high schools should, and middle schools absolutely must be accredited in WASC if they want their transcripts to count when they go into high school or move on to college. So we also have to be reaccredited by WASC this fall, and that's going to be in November. So we have our work cut out for us this school year, being reevaluated by IB and WASC. And that's not all. This year, we are also going to renew our charter. Most of you know we are a charter school. And every 5 years, a charter school has to go to their authorizing district and petition to be a school, right? So we will be going back to San Juan Unified School District this fall and asking them, can you please reauthorize us as a charter school? And for this, we need parent support and community support. And last but definitely not least, I'm just excited that GIS is again a Capturing Kids' Hearts National Showcase School. Our first year we received this honor was in 2016, 2017. So for 4 years, we've been given this honor by Capturing Kids' Hearts. So you will hear teachers and students refer to a program called CKH. Stands for Capturing Kids' Hearts. And this is our foundational program that helps us establish strong, meaningful relationships with students. You know, part of this philosophy is that students don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that's what we really strive to do with CKH is first show our students how much we care about them. And now what everyone wants to know about is distance learning. We have to start our school year with everyone doing online learning. So we ended this school year like this. So we're starting with some experience in distance learning. But over the summer, the state legislator listened to parents, listened to schools, listened to students. And because of their feedback and their experiences in the spring, the state passed a new law with its budget. And this law, SB 98, Senate Bill 98, gave us new requirements for distance learning. Some of these requirements GIS was already doing, and some of them are new. So as we go through and present to you our distance learning plan, I hope you'll see that these are the things that we're doing may be different. It's all based upon the new requirements that the state has given us for distance learning. So here's some of the details of that. All counties that are on the state's watch list for the COVID pandemic, depending upon the data and the numbers, if you are put on the watch list, those schools must conduct 100% online learning. SB 98 encourages in-person instruction and says that it prefers school to offer in-person instruction, but if you're on the watch list, which Sacramento County is, then you have to go to 100% online learning. If we drop off of that watch list, then we can have safe in-person instruction 14 days after that. Safe meaning we would have to socially distance and follow all of the county's guidelines for distance for in-person safe learning. If GIS were to come back and bring students back on campus, if you as a family said, you know, that's great for some people, but I want my kids to continue staying home because I don't want them out and about at school or anywhere else, you would have that option. You can say, I want my kids to stay home and continue learning online, even if GIS brings students back in for some in-person instruction. So this is all mandated by Senate Bill 98. Next, schools must provide access to all students for computer devices and connectivity. GIS was already doing this in the spring. We'll continue to do this for the fall. If any student wants a Chromebook, a laptop to use at home, we're going to provide that for you. We were not able last spring to provide connectivity to Wi-Fi for you, but this year we have some connectivity, some Wi-Fi hotspots, and we'll be passing those out on an as needed basis. And of course, families that have no internet at all would be, the first ones who would have access to that. But schools are required to provide those things for families now. Next, the content that you teach in distance learning must be aligned to grade level standards and must have the same intellectual rigor, must be the same level of learning as if you were in person. So if I'm a third grade student, I cannot be given curriculum for a second grader or from last year. So it has to be the same grade level standards. And so therefore, GIS will be using our same adopted grade level curriculum in all classes, which we were doing last spring as well. Schools must provide supports for those students performing below grade level. So if you're a third grader reading at a first or second grade level, we must provide support for you. You'll see that in our schedules. Also, we must give specific instruction for English language learners, and we must honor all students' special needs, IEPs, according to their individualized education plan. Next, this is new from last year. We must provide daily live interaction with a certificated teacher. So no longer can middle school students just attend Zoom classes 2 days a week, right? They must have daily, 5 days a week, live interaction with a certificated teacher. And they should have interaction with their peers, which they have in Zoom. So the state realizes that interaction with their peers is supportive of students' positive mental health. We should provide that for them. And we as a school must document their daily participation in those online classes and activities and turning in of their assignments. If they do not participate in an online class, nor do they submit work for that school day, we must mark them absent. We must track it. Right? They have to have some type of participation and interaction each day. If a student is marked absent more than 3 days, then we as a school must complete re-engagement strategies. We must have a plan. How are we going to get the student back into learning and engage with their teacher and with their peers? So here are some of the things that as Senate Bill 98 suggests and others we have identified of things that we will do as a school. So number one, verify parent contact info. Maybe we have the wrong email. Maybe we have the wrong phone number for this student. The teacher will be required to make verbal contact with the parent. So an email is just not enough, right? It has to be a verbal contact by the teacher to the parent. Then we would provide individual tutoring if the student needs this motivation or support. The admin may contact the parents or the student themselves. And maybe we set up a Zoom session with the parents and teacher and admin, or maybe we make a home visit and we deliver Chromebooks to you, or we deliver a hotspot to you. Or maybe the student is just really struggling or really needs someone to help get themselves organized, or we would refer them to a counselor. So all of these things are done with the intent to support the student and identify what is challenging you, what are the obstacles that you face that keep you from participating online, and how can we as a school help you? That's our goal with the re-engagement strategies. So the plan that we're going to share with you today is a plan for instruction that we're going to, start off with next week. And then we're going to send you a parent survey link, and ask for your feedback. See how it's going. We are open for suggestions. You know, if it's not working, we got to adjust and we have to make it work. But the plan we've created to share with you today is based upon feedback from parents from last school year, from students during summer school, from teachers. And so we hope that and upon the state Senate bill requirements. So we hope it's going to be a great plan, but we're going to ask for your feedback in a few weeks after we've experienced it and students and teachers have experienced it, and see how we might need to tweak this plan. Okay, so we're going to just go directly in and let Ms. Call start sharing with you our plan details for distance learning.
Thank you, Ms. Takoy. So we're going to go ahead and start with just a PowerPoint we're going to go through that shows some of the schedules and information for our distance learning plan. You know, you're returning families this year, so there's been some changes from how we ended in the spring. So let's go ahead and first look at the online learning platforms. So for this year, TK, kindergarten, and first grade will all be using Seesaw. So none of the teachers will be using ClassDojo to post their assignments. So again, Seesaw for TK through first grade. Second through eighth grade will be using Google Classroom. So that's a switch. Second grade will no longer be using ClassDojo. They will be on Google Classroom. These learning platforms are a place for you to find your students' daily assignments, links to instructional videos and Zoom meetings. And you should be expecting an email from your child's teacher this Thursday with information about how to join these learning platforms. I'll go ahead and go to the next slide on instruction. Zoom will be kind of your student's classroom. This will be your whole class instruction. Like Ms. Takoy said, teachers will be teaching almost as if they were at school. They will teach a lesson to the class with direct instruction, then some guided practice before given an assignment to complete on their own. So Zoom is like their classroom. Google Meets, we're calling it the teacher's desk. Google Meets is what teachers will use to call back individual students or small groups, students who need that ELD support or who might be a year or two behind in grade level. So that's that small group instruction or one-on-one with the teacher or a para. All right, so let's go ahead and get into schedules. So if you'd like to, you can take a picture of these schedules. They will be posted on our website coming up, so you don't need to worry about quickly writing it or taking a picture, but if you'd like, you can take a picture of it now. The first schedule we're going to look at is our PYP minimum day / first week schedule, because for the first week of school, we will be using the minimum day schedule. So let's go ahead and look at the first box, the green box for TK through first grade. They have their first class meeting at 8:30 to 9:15 with a break. But notice afterwards the 9:30 meeting says TBD. So this is to be determined. So as we're having these young students starting for the first time and students coming into first grade and kindergarten, we want to ease them into this full day of being on Zoom meetings and being on the computer. So for the first day or two, the teacher may decide to just have that one morning meeting. But if things are going well, the students have good momentum, they may decide that, hey, we can keep going, and they will then have that 9:30 to 10:15 meeting. So that's to be determined by the teacher, depending on how things are going with the class. Second through fifth grade, we'll be having both meetings, an 8:30 to 9:15 with a break, and then a 9:30 to 10:15 class meeting. And these first week meetings will be going over classroom procedures, beginning of the year assessments, developing that community within, probably building social contracts. So this first week is just getting us ready to get started, building those communities. All right, let's go ahead and look at the regular day schedule. There's a couple things on here I really want to draw your attention to. So you can go ahead and notice that on the TK schedule and the kinder and first, you've got several gray boxes. These gray boxes are when your students will be on a Zoom meeting. So they will not be sitting at their computer from 8:30 all the way till 4 o'clock. That's too much. The gray boxes are when they're having their direct instruction with their teacher. So they'll be having English language arts, taking a break, maybe doing math, science, social studies, world language, and their social emotional learning lessons. And those will be, for example, learning IB attributes, practicing skills like organization, using our second step curriculum to teach communication, remaining calm, resolving conflict. So Fridays will be dedicated to having those social emotional lessons. Those are in the gray boxes. Again. So then switching to the areas written in red, these say individualized instruction, English language support. So these areas are, like I mentioned, and Ms. DeCoy, this is that small group instruction. And your child may be asked to join these meetings. All students will not be on these meetings. It is on a case-by-case, student-by-student need basis. So then if we draw your attention to the kindergarten and first grade in the yellow, it's also, so I just want to point out that one is a gray box, and I did say gray boxes were your Zoom meetings. This one is meant to show that world language will be 40 minutes somewhere in that 12 o'clock to 3:15 time period. They will not be on a Zoom meeting for 3 hours. They will be on a Zoom meeting somewhere depending on their class, and you'll get their schedule from their teacher saying what time their world language meeting will be, but it will be somewhere in that time frame between 12 and 3:15. Lastly, on this page, I'd like to draw your attention to the ACES enrichment. So ACES was our after-school program in the past. It is going to be an optional enrichment program, probably starting the second week. It will not be starting this first week of instruction, but it is open to all students. If you were not an ACES in the past, you may still join these ACES enrichment meetings. So open to all, whether you've been an ACES before or you haven't, you are welcome to join, and they will be recorded and posted. So if you aren't able to make the time of their meeting, you can go back and watch it at another time. All right, let's go and go to 2nd through 5th grade. Pretty much follows kind of the same pattern as the other ones, with one difference. If you look at Friday, classes 3B and 3C will have their social, excuse me, social emotional learning, but they will also be having world language on Friday. So they do have one of their world language sessions on Friday for class 3rd grade B and 3rd grade C. All right, so let's go ahead and go to middle school. So the middle school schedules are a little bit different based on feedback from students in our summer school session. We found out that they really enjoyed those small group interactions, that they had a better chance to talk with teachers. So you can see that we have 4 groups for the middle school program. So cohort 1 has a morning session in the teal and an afternoon session in the orange. So if you are the morning session in teal, you'll have about 3 to 4 classes a day in the morning with individualized instruction in the afternoon. The orange section has it reversed. You'll start with your individualized instruction and then have your classes in the afternoon. Also, I'd like to draw your attention to, it's a little bit kind of like last year with the block, that you will have Monday, Wednesday classes. So on, for example, 7A at 8:30 has world language on Monday and Wednesday, and PE on Tuesday and Thursday. So each day is not the same. You'll be alternating. There is just one mistake on this schedule, and we've noticed it, and it'll be posted correctly on our website. It shows Friday's social emotional learning lessons to be at 8:30. They will actually be at 9:30. So we'll get that fixed and posted on our website. So those social emotional lessons will be at 9:30 on Fridays instead of 8:30. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 8th grade schedule. Again, pretty much the same. Go and take a picture if you need to, and then we'll look at the minimum day schedule, because MYP will also be following the minimum day schedule the first week of school. So like the regular day schedule, they'll still be having about 3 classes a day. The main difference here is now the cohorts will be combined. So the morning cohort and the afternoon cohort will be combined into one class during minimum day schedule, with SEL lessons on Fridays, again, still being at 9:30 instead of 8:30. All right, that's all I have for right now for schedules. And I'll pass things over to, I believe, Ms. Grill.
Maybe I could just say something real quick, Ms. Crow. We have a question from someone in the chat. But first, I want to just point out that we did give students a chance to sleep in a little bit on Fridays. So no student will have a class until 9:30 on Fridays. So a little bit of a break on Friday. But one parent is asking, what about parents who work full-time with weird hours, and how will we be able to support Zoom meetings 5 days a week? So we do understand that this is a challenge for you. Multiple families are having this challenge, and we acknowledge that struggle for you. So we do have to offer and require these classes and these Zoom meetings. So in a way to accommodate your need, we are asking our teachers to record their Zoom instructional classes. So if a middle school or an elementary teacher has a Zoom class today from 8:30 to 9:15 and they're doing ELA, they'll be on Zoom and they will record it. And they will post it to their learning platform via Seesaw or Google Classroom. It will not be posted to a public place, right? It will only go to this Google Classroom, which you have to be part of this class to have access to this Google Classroom. So then if you as a parent, come home that evening, hey, let's sit down and look at your classes. What instruction? You had 3 classes today. Let's look and go through this instruction together. What assignments? Did you at least start your assignments on your own while I was gone to work? Right? Maybe there's some things that you can do. So I would suggest that as a family, number one, wherever your kids are going to be, try to have whoever is supervising them support you in this need for getting your kids online, be it a grandmother or a friend or a sister or aunt or uncle, whoever is supporting you and your family and supervising your kids. You got to get them, number one, on board with getting your students online at the right time. That would be number one, your first choice, right? But your backup option is to watch the videos online after the teacher posts them, right? But again, there's no replacement for that. The same way there's no replacement for in-person instruction, none of us believe that this is better than in-person instruction, right? Watching a Zoom meeting is not going to be as beneficial than being in the Zoom meeting where your child can ask questions of the teacher when they need it, right? So I just encourage you to come up with a system that works for you where you can still participate in the online learning. And then we had another question about, what is it, Daniel, for social emotional learning? Is that right?
Yeah, someone
Specific question?
asking what is social emotional learning.
So social emotional learning is all the hype now in education. We call it SEL, social emotional learning, but schools and educators have realized it is not enough just to teach students how to read and write. It's not enough. They need more than that from us if they're going to be successful, right? They need interpersonal skills. They need communication skills. They need friendship skills, right? So that's basically what it is, social emotional learning. And we have a special curriculum called Second Step that we use for all grade levels. What we ask our teachers to do is take those skills within that curriculum and spread them out over their IB unit right? So if you're teaching a unit on friendship, what skills from the second step lessons fit with the unit you're teaching in IB, and teach those skills during that time. But we thought it necessary to call this out and as an importance on our schedules, because they need it that much more now that they are home alone, not able to go out. We're finding that kids get a little bit discouraged, and sometimes they don't even know it. They don't even know how to label it. They don't even know how to describe it. They don't even know how to recognize their own feelings, right? But I know my daughter is upset about not being able to come to school. She's disappointed, but I'm sure there are a lot of kids feeling like this. So it's just a time, not just to talk, it's not just talk about feelings. It's going to be teaching them social skills. Anyone else want to chime in on that social emotional learning?
I can chime in a little bit. Yeah, so we're kind of basically trying to work on some skills that students need. Like for instance, when you come into 6th grade, it's very different. You don't have one teacher, you have multiple teachers. So kind of like organization, figuring out how to organize and stuff like that, supporting the kids with that. So that's kind of some of the strategies we're going to be using, and our approaches to learning skills from IB. Those are really important for our students to learn and master in middle school, and if they continue on to high school. So the concept is kind of like supporting them with those skills and helping them through those skills. And it's just harder during classes to do that. So we're utilizing our social emotional time to do those lessons with them to support our students in those areas. So like even teaching them research skills. Not every kid can naturally do it, or parents can support them. And we realize that, and our kids now need those strategies with all the assignments they're assigned and all the research they have to do, and they need to know what are right resources and how to find them. So this could be turned into a lesson in our classes to learn those skills with, as far as doing research and all those things, analytical thinking and all those skills. So kind of like a combination of multiple things is what we're doing to support our student in making them better student with their learning. There were a couple of other questions, Mr. Coy. Do you mind if I try to answer those?
Yeah, go ahead.
Asked about being schedules. How do they figure out which section their child is in? The homeroom teachers will be emailing their schedules to you tomorrow. So you should know whose class you will be in, or what is your schedule going to be. So if you're in cohort 1, are you in the morning session or the afternoon session? So your homeroom teacher, please expect an email from them tomorrow to support you with that. And I know a couple of students have posted in there that this is overwhelming or this is confusing, and will this be posted somewhere? Yes, we're also posting our schedules on the website. Please start off with your homeroom teacher once the email comes out tomorrow, and then you have your first initial meeting on Monday, things will start to get better. And of course, when you are here next week on whichever day you're supposed to be coming in to pick up your material, we can further answer or clarify any information. But we're hoping after the first day you've joined all the meetings, that should help clarify some things. But yes, for parents, you will be receiving a schedule, an email from the homeroom teacher with your student's schedule tomorrow.
Thank you, Ms. Dillon. And for those students who, already have their Google account, which if you're a returning student, all of you should have it, check your Google email, right? Your teacher will be sending you that tomorrow to that email. You can get that letter from your homeroom teacher tomorrow in your GCC Google email, and your codes for joining the Google Classroom. And then on the website will be the schedules. But what I want to encourage you is just think about Monday morning at 8:30, where do I need to be, right, as a student? And wherever you are that Monday morning, that teacher's going to support you. That teacher is going to help you. And as far as parents being concerned about their schedule, we also have available some of our ACES staff whose hours are from 3 to 6, who can do some one-on-one support during that time. So we have available supports, basically like we would during a regular school day from 8 to 6. So if you're working in the morning and you need support in the afternoon, we can get you support in the afternoon. If you're a middle school student who's been assigned to the afternoon, but you really need a morning, we can try to make an adjustment. So we just want you to know that if you have these specific situations or instances, reach out to us. And as a team, we're going to do our best to make things realistic and easy for you. Okay. And next, we're going to Miss Coriel. All right? Yes. Okay.
All right, thank you, Mr. Coy. All right, so I get to speak to you about supports that we offer. And a lot of you already know some of these supports, and I'm just happy to see you and start the year off with you. So I just want to say hi. So last year we started with laptops and Chromebooks for all students. Hopefully you still have yours and it functions properly. We are going to continue this year with laptops and Chromebooks for everyone, of course. And if yours is not functioning properly, please make sure to contact the office and we'll make sure you have something that does function, because you will be needing that every day. So we are actually very proud of the fact that last year we had, our daily meetings with all the students, and we were seeing our kids all the time, and now it is law. So we were following best practices last year before they were considered best practices. So we're proud of that. So next week, you will be dropping off curriculum from last year. If you need to drop off maybe a math book or some kind of text that you might have, you're going to come in. Mr. Coy, would you mind sharing that? Thank you so much. So Mr. Coy is going to show you what a little schedule, and we're going to go by houses. So starting on Monday, we are absolutely going to have one of our largest houses, the Red House, will be coming to, thank you so much, will be coming to drop off any materials they have. So please remember, we do need to be safe and social distance. So wear your mask as well. Only bring the amount of people that you need to. Please, no extra friends or relatives. So on Monday, if you are in the Red House, last name's A through E, you're going to be coming from 1 to 4:30 to drop off first. You'll go to, if you were TK or kindergarten last year, please drop off your supplies at Pilgrim Hall across the street. And if you're TK and K this year, you'll also pick up supplies on that side. Okay. Now, if you have a first grader or a second or third grader, you're going to be coming to the NPR room, our newly designed NPR room. You can come in through the front of the school. You're not able to walk through the school, so please park in our new parking lot. It's beautiful. Come in that way, and then you need to exit the same way. Even if you have students in, say, 4th through 8th grade, you're going to actually have to walk all the way around to the Northrop entrance. So there's a small entrance in between the gates, and we have it marked for you. Please come in that direction. You cannot walk through for safety reasons due to construction. So TK and K is over at Pilgrim Hall. 1st through 3rd grade will be in the NPR room, and please enter on Morse Avenue. And then 4th through 8th grade will be in the portables. So you'll be visiting your old teacher. You can drop off your old materials. You can say hi, and then you'll visit your new teacher and pick up your supplies. Okay, so just take a quick peek. Monday is Red House, Tuesday is purple, Wednesday is green, Thursday is blue, and Friday is yellow. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Oh, yes, please, thank you. And here is a lovely graphic that Mr. Daniel created. So this is in case you'd like to see where we are. On the bottom, where's the blue, the red dot says entrance here. That is where you would enter for the Northrop gate for 4th through 8th grade. And the office is in Miss Harris's room. I think it's HO2 now. And if you have to enter, the little blue star, thank you, is where you would enter for 1st through 3rd grade, the NPR room. And then the orange triangle is across the street at the church, the Pilgrim Hall. Perfect. Thank you so much. And of course, whenever you have questions, you can always call and we'll be able to help you with that. All right, so hotspots. We have some of those this year. Mr. Coy has been working on obtaining hotspots for you. Last year, some families had difficulty with Wi-Fi, either with their connection, obtaining it. So we did try to connect you with, I believe it was Comcast that was offering either free or discounted internet. But this year, we're so proud that we could offer you a hotspot. We don't have an unlimited supply, so we are going to be giving those out on, I'm sorry. And those with the greatest need will be the first to get the hotspot. So if you have a need, please call our office and we'll be happy to help you, okay? Because we need everyone to be online and have strong connections so that they can stay interacting with their peers and teachers. So last year we had GoGuardian and it was fully implemented. That is the program, just in case you had forgotten what that was. It's the program that provides protection, safety, and it supports your students in their instruction because the teachers can see where the students are. They can monitor their activities. The administration can see where your students are and what they've been doing. And there are parent accounts now. So Mr. Daniel's going to talk a little bit more about that later, but it's really nice. You'll be able to see where your students are, what they're doing, and what they've been up to. It's also great for focus for the students. So if they're on a Chromebook from school, that is required to use the GoGuardian program. So if they have logged on and their teacher has said, okay, I'd like you to please do X, Y, and Z. If that's the focus, then the teacher can block out every other website besides the ones they needed to be on at that time. So it's a beautiful function and we can definitely regulate what the students can do. Okay, so please listen to Mr. Daniel to hear more about the GoGuardian. And we do, as you know, have many bilingual paraeducators and also other staff that speak many languages. So during the individualized instruction time, those one-on-one times or small groups, we have a lot of different translation services. And I just want to give you a little heads up on so how many languages we do offer translation services for if needed on campus. So we have Russian, Ukrainian, we have Hmong, Farsi, Punjabi, Hindi, German, Gagutian, Moldovan, and Spanish. I hope I didn't miss any, but if I did, please let me know. We have our 3 dedicated special education paraeducators that will be supporting our special education students throughout the day. They'll be getting those minutes they need. And we also still have our counselor, Miss Dillon, and she provides counseling support for you. Okay. And one more support that I think you'll be happy to hear is that we are providing lunches this year. They will be curbside, so you'll have to drive in, but you will have to come to our school this year to pick them up. Last year, you were able to go to any of your local schools. So if you didn't live close to GIS, you could go somewhere else. It's not happening this year as of right now. So you'll have to go to the front of the school between 11:30 and 1. I'm not sure exactly who will be handing out the lunches. I believe they're Twin River employees. So if they are the lovely ladies that we had last year, they probably know you and your family. If it's anyone else, they might not know you. So if you plan on coming to get some lunch, you definitely need to have either your 9800 number, you should have that memorized probably, your welcome letter from your teachers, or your ID. So you might have an ID from last year as well. So please bring some sort of ID showing that you are enrolled in GIS. You'll be provided with lunch for the day you come and then breakfast for the following day. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you so much, Mr. Coy.
Thank you, Ms. Croyle. So I want to share a little bit more and just respond to some of the questions that are coming through on YouTube. So thank you for being patient with us. It is a lot of information to share with you all at one time, but we want to go through it thoroughly so that later on, if you miss a section, you can come back and re-watch it or re-listen to it. But we also want to take time to answer your questions. So we're not trying to rush through this to get on to the other many things we need to do, right? Communicating this plan and support for your students is our priority. So feel free to put your comments or your questions in the chat, or I think that's what it's called. And we're going to do our best to answer them for you. So again, I just want to talk and repeat that we are still offering special ed services to students with our RSP teacher and with our school psychologist and with our speech teachers. So if your student normally receives services, they will continue to be provided these services through virtual format. We did this last spring. We had students receiving speech through Zoom last year, and it was very productive. So I'm happy that we can still do that for you. Another parent asked about if students do not attend the online Zoom or class meetings, will they be marked down? What's going to affect their grade is the amount of work that they complete, right? So whether they attend or not will affect attendance, right? But their grade is going to be based on the amount of work and the quality of work that they complete, just as if they were in person on campus, right? But again, you need that live instruction, right, to be able to complete those assignments at a high level and at, an A or B standard. But again, maybe I need to repeat that we are recording the live teaching sessions so that students can go back and watch them later, find them on their Google Classroom or their Seesaw account. Okay, let me talk a little bit more about grading. So last semester, students, this was new for all of us, right? Some students were given the entire trimester to turn in their assignments. That did not prove real beneficial for many students. Sometimes giving students too much time to complete things was permission to not do things. So again, we are going to follow our regular process as if we were on campus. So teachers have been told, you're following your regular curriculum. We must provide grade level standard curriculum and assignments. If you would normally give 10 problems homework, allow them some time to do it, maybe during your Zoom session, and then that's homework, right? Again, they have a day, 2 days before. So if they have, I'm talking about middle school. So if they normally give 2 days to complete an assignment during school time, give the same time online. So parents have to understand that school is still happening. You have to train your brain to think my student still has to participate in school, and to the largest extent possible, during the hours of 8:30 to 3. But if that's a challenge for you, then you need to make sure that students are contacting their teacher on Google Classroom and submitting their work online, maybe in the evenings or the afternoons. But they will not have the whole trimester to complete assignments. Teachers will post an assignment in their Google Classroom or Seesaw. When they post it, they will post it with a due date. If that due date is Friday, that's when it's due. And if they accept late work, that's going to be up to the teacher's late work policy, as if it had been on campus. So we're hoping that this will, keep students to the high level of doing their work as they were before we went. Someone else, I want to tell you, I understand being overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed just telling you all this. And I see some comments about just being overwhelmed. Trust me, we're staying up late trying to control our being overwhelmed, right? Trying to plan and prepare so that when school starts, we're not all overwhelmed. But we have some other parent training scheduled for you. So if you're a parent that's new to Google, or you need to know maybe how to use Google, if your child is starting in 2nd grade, they didn't use Google last year, or 3rd grade, we have a Google training set up for parents on Friday. I believe it's at 1 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. And then we have students can join that Google training. If they are new to Google, of course, their teacher online is going to train them, but if they're feeling overwhelmed and would like to join with their parents on Friday, that's okay too. And then we have a Seesaw parent training on Friday at the same time. So Ms. Croyle, is it not at the same time? When is it? Someone remind me. 10 o'clock in the morning. So Seesaw is in the morning at 10 with Ms. Croyle and Ms. McClintock, who used Seesaw last year. And Google training is in the afternoon at 1 o'clock with Ms. Dillon and Mr. Pierre and Ms. Bolton. I'm good? All right, got those details. Okay, excellent. So I'm going to keep looking at comments, but we're going to go now to Mr. Daniel, who will share a little bit about communication. Oh, thank you, Daniel.
Alrighty, hello everyone. So I will be sharing about how many different ways we communicate information to our parents or students, and for you to have access to that information. So just in case if you missed something during our live streams or any of the videos, or you still have any questions, you are able to go and find an answer through our social media or through our website or even through our app. So with that in mind, I want to just show you a quick tutorial. If you do not have the GIS school app, how you can get it, and also some features of the app that are very helpful to access, calendars. We have updated our Google Calendar for the 2020-2019 school year. Or sorry, 2020-2021 school year, I apologize. So before I show you any of the features, to download the app, the specific name is Gateway International School. It's not GIS, and it's not just Gateway. So you have to type in your App Store or your Google Play Store, Gateway International School, in order to find our app. And once you type it in, you click enter or search, and there you will see our Gateway International School app with the logo and those 3 pictures as a preview. Once you've downloaded the app, it will open up. So this is how you know it's the right app, when you have all the right pictures and the logo right there. It will prompt you with a few different notification tabs. So the first one, it's circled red. Just click allow. If you accidentally clicked don't allow the notifications, it's okay. You can go back into your notification settings and change that for your app. But it's important to have it on, because whenever we send out updates or certain information about even this orientation, it'll just pop up right up on your phone, and you can just slide it out and not look at it, or you can look at it later. But it's just a very convenient way of you getting information. We don't send out information every single day. We try to only limit it to important information about upcoming events or meetings or information that you need. So click allow. And for the next bubble or blurb you'll get is the new content. It's just a little update. Just click yes, so that the app will function the way it's supposed to. Our app users, they constantly update our app to accommodate us, and so just click yes for the new content. After you have everything updated and your notifications on, the app will look like this. There's 6 different options at the bottom, and at the top left corner there's also 3 bars. You can explore that later. There's a lot to explore, but it's very user-friendly, very easy to use. In the middle, I circled green, is the reminders tool and feature. So once you open that, then you'll go to this window, and there's 2 different options. You can open up your inbox, or you can open up notification settings. So the first thing we're going to look at is the inbox. Now the inbox is basically all the different notifications that we have sent out the past week and the past month. And so once you download the app, you'll be able to go in and look at some of the maybe notifications you might have missed. Or if you didn't turn on your notification settings, or you might have missed a notification, then you can just go back into the app, go into the inbox, and see whatever you had missed. Or if there was a link and you didn't open it, then you can have an opportunity to open it here. And in our next one is the notification settings. Again, it's circled in green. That's the second option under the reminders tab. Once you open that, you have an opportunity to turn on or turn off certain notification groups. For example, you might have a child who's only in 3rd grade. So you can go ahead and turn off all the other grade notifications so that you don't get middle school notifications for and that you don't need. unless you want to have that additional information. Also, as opposed to if you just have a child in middle school, then you could just turn off all the other grades and you'll only be getting those middle school notifications. Now we do send notifications to all grades, and then sometimes we do send specific notifications to our middle school groups, our NYP and our PYP, which is TK to 5th grade. And after you have turned on your desired notification groups, you just go to the bottom where the green arrow is, you click apply settings, and that will be, and it'll apply to your app. Another great feature of our app is our calendar access. This is probably the best way to see what's upcoming throughout the school year. You can even go in right now and see all the events that we have planned and what our school year is going to look like. So it's, again, the green circle is around the calendar tool or app, and you open it, and then this is what the interface you're going to get. So you could just scroll down and look at what's going on in the month of August, and you can go next, toggle to the month of September, October, and we've already updated that. So you can go in and look what to expect, what to plan around, what to write into your own personal calendar if you desire. But it is just another easy way of accessing school calendar information. Another great feature for our parents is a report absence. So like Mr. Quay outlined about the absence requirements and what we got from the state, if you do miss, school, or maybe you're sick, you can catch up on an assignment or something. Instead of calling in for an absence, you can also report an absence online, which makes it a lot easier. You just type in all that information right there, and it saves you the hassle from waiting and calling. And we can access this information instantly. So once you submit something, we can see it and put it into our ARIES system. So it's, again, another convenience for our parents. And another convenience is here, this ARIES, you can access ARIES student information portal right here. Some parents have the ARIES app downloaded onto their phone, and here's another just way to get to ARIES. So if you have an account already, you are able to go through here and log in. If you don't have an account, you can again open this portal and create an account. Now we have got an update in our system where we are sending out verification emails to parents to activate their account. So if you received an email and you verified your account, you can log in through this portal right here. For those of you that maybe did not receive that email, you can still go into here, create a new account, verify that email, and then you can call our front office, and they will direct you to me so I can help you with the process of adding your student to your account. This portal basically lets you see the grades of your students, so all the assignments and what is graded, what is missing, and that's what access you are able to have through ARIES. So another access for ARIES will be our school website at gischarter.org. Right now, we are working on getting all the documents that are going to be shared in this presentation onto our school website. It should be up by the end of the day, so keep just checking up and updating and double checking. But here again is another access to our monthly calendar and another access portal to our ARIES accounts, and we'll also be updating our websites with our calendar and handbooks. And here, as you can see, this is our homepage. We have our staff email. So you just click the staff tab, and whichever staff member you're looking for, you can email our staff. If you're looking for a specific teacher, you just find that teacher, you click on the teacher link, and there'll be the grades, and then you click the whatever teacher grade your teacher is in and the name, and then you're able to access their webpage and email. So that's how you can directly contact your teacher once you find out who it is tomorrow after you get an email. Also, if you can go back, Mr. Coy. As you can see, the 3 tabs, a lot of information we're going to be posting is going to be right there in the middle of our news. So you'll just have to scroll down, and there'll be the student orientation packets in that link. Will make it easy and accessible right there. So again, just keep checking. We should have that up there by the end of today. We are also connected onto social media. So if you have an Instagram, add us at GIS_charter. If you have a Twitter, add us at GIS_charter. Or if you have a Facebook, You can also add our Facebook page, Gateway International School. We do stay updated on our social medias. It's also kind of cool. You can go into our social media and look at what we've been doing even the previous school years. And we also put up a lot of information on what's upcoming events, dates, things that you need to be aware of. As you can see that we have a flyer up there for today's orientation. So it's just another way of you getting information and at your convenience. If you have any more questions, feel free to call our office at 916-286-1985. Our office has temporarily moved due to construction, and here's a little map. This is our school from overview. On the left side of the picture, that is the front of the school where there's the Morse Avenue in the front parking lot where our office normally was located. But for right now, we are in the back of the school, which is on the right-hand side of the picture on the Northrop side. The office is at the yellow star. It's in a portable in a classroom H02. And to get there, you would have to either park at the church parking lot in the back or on the side of the Northrop Street and walk over here at the red entrance, the red dot. And there's a small little gate there. It's a very small, narrow way in between the construction zone and our portables. Please do not walk into the construction zone. Stay away from the construction areas for your safety. And we have signs that are posted. GIS office is here, and it'll lead you and guide you to where our temporary office is at. Please, we do advise that you wear your mask and still follow social distance guidelines when you do come onto campus. So if there's a lot of people inside of the classroom, please just wait outside while someone will come out to help you. If you do not feel comfortable coming to the office or inside, but you want to ask a question, you want to stop by, you want to drop something off, you are able to call and we can meet you outside to pick up any paperwork, to pick up anything, or to answer any questions. And we can do that in the safety of distance outside. So it's up to you. We are here for you to help you out. So if you have any more questions, just want to go over a few more things about communication. Ms. Kroll mentioned GoGuardian. That is an app that we use to monitor online activity. We are right now working on getting your email, your parent email onto GoGuardian so that you can create an account and look at your student information. So even when you can't watch what your student is looking on the computer, you can just open up the app on your phone and see what they're doing or what they have been doing. So we're working on that. And once we get all that finalized, we'll send out a notification through one of our mediums, which is Aries Communication, which is a neat way of us sending out, again, mass information through a text message. So if you might get a text message from us, you might get a call from us, and you might get an email from us. So depending on the how important the information is, it will be depending on, we won't call you every day to tell you that school starts 8 a.m. in the morning or to tell you that there's no school on Monday. We won't call, we're going to use calling for very important information. So if you did get a call and you get a voicemail, please listen to it. But emails, we'll send out emails in regards to just general information that we get, and also we will send out text messages to notify you that you received a notification and information from the school. And so again, if you have any other questions, feel free to go back and look at the school office number. Our hours are 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So feel free to call and stop by any time between then. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. So as you can see, we're very committed to making sure you have what you need to be successful as parents and as students. So we have so many means of communication that we try. One of these avenues is surely going to find you, right? So we just encourage you to follow up and read those texts or emails that come into you. Make sure your email is up to date with our office, because that will be the teacher's main mode of communication. So I sent out an email, text, and phone call last week about this. And, many parents got the phone call, but when we asked them, did you check your email? No. Well, sometimes the email, if you've been at our GIS school for a while, maybe the email you gave us when your child was in kindergarten is not the email you regularly check. So I encourage you to, if you are not getting emails, to call in the office, double check and verify your email is the one you want it to be, or change it to the one you want it to be so that it's easiest for you to get communication, because that will be the main mode of transportation, means of communication going forward. But there's another question. So Daniel, now that you're done, if you want to scan the chat for any other questions, but there was one question someone asked about our charter renewal. And it is asking about every 5 years we have to allow our charter, our district permission to be open. Yes, that is a little bit scary every 5 years, right? But to be renewed as a charter school, you have to meet certain requirements. And if you meet those requirements, they basically have no grounds to deny your charter. I can assure you, I'm not worried at all about GIS, our renewal with San Juan District. Not just because we have a really good relationship with them and they're building a brand new school for us. These are all good things. But as a school, GIS has met and exceeded all expectations and requirements to be renewed as a charter. But we still have to go through the motions. We still have to submit the petition. We still have to participate in a public hearing. We still have to go before their board, and there still has to be a vote. Right, so it's still a process that we have to go through, but I'm not worried about our charter being renewed, but we will still need, parent and community support for this. So no need for you to be worried about that. We're all working on that in the background for you. Okay, Daniel, any other questions? Okay. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Dillon, and she's going to talk about some forms that we need turned in for the school year. Ms. Dillon?
Thank you, Mr. Coy. Hello, everyone. I am going to talk a little bit about our returning student packet and the forms that you have to fill out. So once that is projected, I can start going over that. But our forms are very detailed, outlined, and we are trying to upload them to our website under our news today. Some of the booklets that we need you to, our GCC handbook and our GIS handbook, we are trying to upload those onto our GIS website, gischarter.org website. And once you have a chance to look at those, you'll be signing some of the documentation. If we are for some reason unable to upload it there because we've been having some technical difficulty with the sizes of the files, then we will be emailing those handbooks to you. So hopefully you'll get that by either sometime this afternoon or tomorrow morning from us. Mr. Coy, can you please go ahead and share that? So welcome to Returning Student Orientation. And this is the packet. So it is all PDF editable, so you should be able to edit the information that we are requesting from you, and you would be emailing it back to our registrar, Ms. Svetlana Belosova at gcccharters.org. So her email address is right here on the top for you to return that back to her. So once you fill it out, please save it to your computer and then email that to Ms. Svetlana. So the first form is the world language elective form. So all of our students that are returning back to GIS first grade, and as a matter of fact, this school year, even second grade, because they didn't get to select it last school year, they need to fill this form out, and all of sixth grade to choose your world language. I know that some of you had mentioned something in the chat box in regards to saying that in Aries, it already tells which world language is chosen for them. We by default register every student into Russian as their world language. And then we pull students out of there and switch over to Spanish as their choice if parents and the student otherwise chooses so. So we defaultly automatically register them. So all of our this year's incoming first grade and second grade and sixth graders, we would like you to fill this form out by choosing your elective. So this is only for those 3 grade levels this school year. The second form is your textbook agreement. This is basically saying, you know, you're going to keep your textbook in good shape and return it back in good shape and on time when it's required to be returned back. You know, we've already talked about how next week is the schedule to pass out all this material. So teachers will be passing you your textbooks and all that. So please sign this form and return that form back. Computer use guidelines for GCC students. So those are kind of listed in order on what are the expectations. Please make sure that you use our account, the 9800 number, to log yourself into the computer. We want your student to log in through there so we can help monitor them and keep them safe online. So we encourage you to do that. Respect our computer, respect taking care of it. And that's another form that you would have to sign. So you read through this form, please, in detail, and then go ahead and sign that form. The next one is the agreement for us to send you the Chromebooks home for this upcoming school year. A lot of you had already collected those last year, but the contract's kind of technically not valid for this school year. So you'll have to submit these documentation. So you'll need to fill out the information that's on here on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th page and return this back as well for the Chromebook that you're keeping at home. And then after this form, so this is the final page and the condition and shape and all that stuff. After this form is a 3-way pledge, the expectations from students. Then the second pledge is the expectations from parents, guardians, and then the last portion of it is expectations from teachers. So you can kind of help support that and sign that as a pledge to taking care of your classroom, taking care of books and all that stuff. Emergency cards. You will only be required to fill out one. You'll be required to fill out one emergency card for each of your child. So if you have more than one child, you will need to fill it in multiple times. So that'll be the emergency card. It's a 2-page document. And then after you are done with this one, the next form is the one I was just mentioning to you guys about, that you would have to go to our website, gischarter.org, under our news. You will see the GCC Annual Notification Handbook and the GIS Parent Student Handbook. Please review those and then sign the form that is below that. Again, if for some reason we are unable to load those due to the size of the files, we will be emailing those out to you. So you'll have to sign this form. And then the last form is if you're opting your child out of media, then you have to fill this form out. So that way we know if there are any families opting out of media. All right, I think that's it for the forms.
Thank you, Ms. Dillon. Okay, so that's a lot of forms. And unfortunately, it's the only format that we have to get you all of these forms efficiently. We've done our best to make them fillable forms for you rather than you having to print them at home and complete them and scan them back into us. But unfortunately, if you have more than one kid, you're gonna have to do it multiple times and then maybe save it with that child's name and send it into Sveta. And you know, it's not going to be perfect and it's going to take us some time to figure out, here's 1A, here are the students who have emailed forms into Ms. Svetlana from 1A. So it's going to take some time for us to sort through those things and do our best, but we're going to do our best and we just ask that you do your best as well. So that's what we have for you. But there was a question about Google Password. Students are students and they forget their passwords, right? But for you to know, we are working on a single sign-on for students, which we weren't able to get done before the start of school, but it's something we're working on where when students kind of log into their Chromebook, they're automatically logged into these other programs. So it's called a single student sign-on. We're working on that, right? But until then, if your child needs a password, your first option and your best option is to go to the teacher. And I realize right now, maybe you don't have access to who your teacher is. You should know tomorrow. But you can always call the office, and Mr. Daniel and I both have access to reset passwords and help you do that. So just call us, we'll get you a new password. That's something that we can do remotely for you, and then Daniel can text it back to you. But I encourage you, everyone on this meeting and in our office welcomes your questions and will support you. If you have a student who's having difficulty with technology, reach out to us before you get too frustrated. Reach out to us and we will support you through that process. Now, we cannot predict every single technological glitch that we're going to have, right? But we will do our best to solve them as they arise. We had a glitch this morning. Somehow we figured it out. We solved it, and we haven't had it this afternoon. So that's our goal, is that when it does happen, we get better and better with time, and we learn how to solve these problems. But please reach out to us soon, and we will help you to the best of our ability to solve these problems. Anything else, team, that I forgot or we need to address for orientation? No? If you already have your Aries account, heads up, you already have access to who your teacher is for this school year. So just an inside note, you can log into your Aries parent portal and you can see already who your teacher for next year is. That's an incentive for setting up your parent portal, right? Go in there and set your settings so that you receive a weekly notification of your students' grades. You can be emailed about their grades weekly. Stay on top of it. But we're wanting to help you and your students be excited about the start of the school year. So our teachers are their first day back. They're not even at school. They're not even on calendar yet. They start tomorrow, which is why you get your teacher introductory letter tomorrow. But most of them have been here on campus preparing and getting things ready to pass out to you so that for the first week of school, your student is excited about school. And it's not going to be our great first day where we line up on the blacktop and people bring flowers and someone rings the official bell to start the first of school. Unfortunately, we don't get to have that experience, but I look forward to the day when they allow us back on campus and we can ring that official bell again and start school in person. I look forward to that day. So thank you very much for being part of our GIS family. Our theme this year is I Be Strong, hashtag I Be Strong. So I just encourage you to tell yourself how strong you are, believe in yourself, tell your students how strong they are, and they are going to make it. They are going to good. They're going to do good, and we're going to help them along the way. Thank you very much for being a Grizzly. Every day is a great day to be a Grizzly. Your muscles are bigger than mine, Daniel. Do it again, Daniel. There you go. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Thank you for joining us.